I'm not quite used to yet. I hugged someone, it fell off. I sat down, it fell out. So hopefully we'll have no more difficulties going through the service. Welcome. Welcome to those online. My name is Matt Purinton. I am here today because Reverend Pat is not. She is out on vacation, well-deserved vacation. And as is Reverend Pat's wont, I want to follow her path with a weather forecast. So even though it is cloudy and gloomy outside, inside here is so cozy. All the lights are on. For those of you online, all the lights are on. It just feels very cozy. So I'm looking forward to a warm, cozy, encouraging service. So with that, we are going to have you stand, if you could, as we open with wonderful music.
Come, let us gather together. This is a place of love. We come together as people of prayer. This is a house built on love. Come, let us gather in peace. This is a sacred space. We join our hearts here in one loving family. This is a house built on love. We come together as people of prayer. This is a house built on love. Wisdom guides me, wisdom shows me the way. Wisdom guides me, wisdom shows me the way. When I'm lost and confused, wisdom leads the way. I will trust, I will choose. Wisdom leads the way. Faith will guide me. Faith will show me the way. Faith will guide me. Faith will show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, faith will lead the way. I will trust, I will choose. Faith will lead the way. Love will guide me. Love will show me the way. Love will guide me. Love will show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, love will lead the way. I will trust, I will choose. Love will lead the way. Wisdom guides me. Wisdom shows me the way. Wisdom guides me. Wisdom shows me the way. When I'm lost and confused, wisdom leads the way. I will trust, I will choose. Wisdom leads the way. Wisdom leads the way. Wisdom leads the way. Please be seated. I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith. I have faith. I pray faith. I choose faith. I am faith. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. I have love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love, I am love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love. You are love, we are love, all God's children are love. You are love, we are love, all God's children are love. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well.
In this beautiful place that that wonderful song has brought us into, let's just close our eyes and open in prayer. Even though it's gray outside, focus on that light inside of you that is never extinguished. No matter how dark the clouds, no matter if there's a storm, that light is always present, always available. And from that light, we open our hearts to Spirit here today. And from that place, we would also extend that light to anyone in our lives who needs that light to be shown, to remind them of their own light. If you can just say their names now gently and quietly and bring that light from you to them, whatever they're going through. And in your own life, shine that light even now. There are places in your own experience this morning where you are in your life. Let that light shine in you and through you, even as you're focusing on others. Make sure that that light is your awareness that shines in you throughout the service, throughout the day, throughout the week. That light, that ever-present light, always shines in you. And with that, we say thank you and amen. So next we have our invocation, vision and mission statement and core values. We generally stand, but the choice is always yours. So if you'd like to stand for this or sit, invocation, say it with me, please. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Amen to that. Next, that was the right response. Thank you, Vanessa. On cue, okay, she's on cue. Next should be our vision statement, centered in divine love. We celebrate a spiritually transformed world. And finally, our mission statement, Unity Center for Mission Growth reaches in to reach out through education, service, and creation of community. All those things we sort of help do here, even here today, right? And last but not least, our core values. We are loving, we are accepting, we are authentic, we are transformative, we are soul-centric, we are compassionate, and we are welcoming. And that is the truth about us, everybody. Everybody who's here listening, and everybody in general, that's the truth of who we are as a community. So thank you. And from there, we are going to go into Namaste. So I think pretty much most people here are familiar with Namaste. So we go through this once, just singing it through, right? And just kind of centering yourself and softening. And then the second time through, you turn to your neighbor and you can honor them with a bow or just a nod or whatever you think, but it's all about recognizing the light in them as you recognize the light in yourself.
Namaste, Namaste. My heart sings Namaste. The light in me beholds the light in you. Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. My heart sings, Namaste, Namaste. The light in me beholds the light in you. Namaste, 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 Namaste.
Now we have what I kind of consider one of the core parts of any service, which is the unity principles. You can go to a bunch of different unities and there'll be a bunch of different ways to do this service, but one commonality you should always find is the unity principles. So let's go through these. God is good and everywhere present. And sometimes in our walk that can be easy to forget, right? But that's such it's looking past like behavior, what you're seeing, and knowing the truth beyond that, right? Second, the Spirit of God lives within each of us, therefore all people are inherently good. Kind of tied to the first a little bit. Easy to forget when you're kind of swimming through the physical world here, looking at the news, and looking at different things people are doing, going, what is going on? But again, you're always looking past the behavior, right? You're looking past the physical. You're looking to the truth within. And at the core, we are all the same children of the divine. Next is we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. This can also be something that's easy to, like you're in a kind of the river of life, right? And it can be easy to forget that because you're just responding to that river, the same inputs. I read a stat one time that said our thoughts, I think, that we think most days are like 90% repetitive, like out throughout the day. I think that's correct. And that's why it's so important to, hop off that train occasionally to make sure you're seeing where the train's going, right? And you're choosing your thoughts. There is power in affirmative prayer, which we believe increases our connection to God. And there is no question about that. Prayer, however you relate to the divine, what your concept of the divine is, communication, in this case, through prayer, that connection can't help but build both your connection understanding and create a deeper sort of strength and foundation through doing that. Very important, however you define that or do that in your own life. And last but not least, knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. And that's not a thing of like, if you don't, naughty you. It's not that. It's that in the living of them is how you experience them, right? You can think about them, and it's wonderful to think about them and wonderful to apply them. But in the living of them, you prove to yourself their efficacy, right? You show yourself, and then through showing yourself, you show those around you, right? It's through living them. And nobody's perfect. All you have to do is as best you can where you're at with them, and that's all that's ever needed and asked. And so with that, this is Reverend Pat's favorite part of the service. We always open it up to ask if there are any would like to talk on how they applied these principles this week in their own life. Now, if I can turn this on. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're live. They'd like to share how they applied the principles this week in their own lives. Don't be shy. This is normally not a shy crowd. There you go.
I'll share. We had a very challenging family estate planning meeting that had to happen, a series of meetings this week at my mom's family farm in Massachusetts. And it was really intimidating for me. So I got to the point where I just decided to focus on affirmative prayer and surrendering that to, there were a lot of details, a lot of things that had to be worked out. And everything just fell into place so beautifully and so wonderfully. And I also want to share, about a month or so ago, I found out I had to move out of my apartment. So I was looking, and I was also very stressed, and things were not looking good. There's very high prices in downtown and terrible stock of apartments. And I also just gave up and surrendered and trusted. And within 24 hours, I found the perfect place with a loft and a balcony and like things beyond my wildest dreams within my budget. So I just want to thank all of you because I asked many of you to pray for me. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Who else? Anybody else like to share this morning? I'm not in a hurry here. All right. Going once, looking up here, going twice. All right. So I have to turn this off. There's no feedback. Yes, daily word would be next. You're thinking I was going to forget? Where's the faith, Christine? Where's the faith? Usually that's Dina's line. Matt, no. This is next. Okay. Daily word reader. Oh, I didn't check who's it. Oh, Jacqueline, thank you so much. Come on up. Wonderful. I'm glad Jacqueline was aware and looked at that.
I don't think you have the correct date up here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I assumed
That's
it was on the
all right.
correct date.
I will when I get the right page.
Faith. All right. Now we're talking about faith today. Faith here with Jacqueline.
Faith. It is the 19th. Okay, and it's called friendly is the word of the day.
Oh.
The Bible contains many stories that are encourage hospitality towards our strangers that are around us day by day. For instance, Jesus welcomed everyone to his ministry, from the hungry to the sick, to the strangers and the social outcast. He loved unconditionally. That same loving energy is within me and you. When I greet others with a friendly smile, I am not only sharing one of the great lessons of Jesus, I'm expanding my world and giving myself the chance to learn and grow. If I feel hesitant meeting new people, I remember how it felt to be welcomed by friendly people when I was new on a job, or I was new to a school or to a church or a town even. I was grateful for those people who extended themselves in friendship to me, and these memories inspire me to be friendly now. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. Matthew 25, verse 35. And the word is friendly. I greet others with a friendly and open heart. Always.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jacqueline.
To open up Matt's talk this morning, this is Ever Strong.
Though days be dark and storms and burdens weigh my heart, no matter what awaits at every turn, my heart is ever strong. And though the journey is long, the destination is near. No matter what awaits at every turn, my heart be ever strong. So, brothers, take my hand, and sisters, sing this song. When hope awaits at every turn, our hearts are ever strong. Our hearts are ever strong. Our hearts are ever strong.
Thank you, Dina. As always, make sure, for those of you who weren't here right at the very beginning, I have already sort of lost the microphone twice so far today, so Scott was making sure it doesn't happen a third time while I'm talking. Thank you, Scott. All right, so our message here today, sort of two-tone. One is Why Faith, with a subtitle of When the Storm Clouds Gather. You can see they go together, like why faith and when the storm clouds gather. If you're here on this physical earth, you are going to experience storms. You can call them storms of faith or storms of just normal process in human life. Sometimes in our own path, we can keep our skies pretty blue, but we have no control over our loved ones, or sometimes what happens with our work, or what happens with our health. Sometimes it's just, if you're here in the physical, those skies are going to darken up once in a, and storms will pass through. And so the message today is a message of encouragement about where to locate yourself when that happens. And I know that might seem obvious, but bear with me here. We know these moments. We feel them in our bodies, in our thoughts, and in the quiet spaces in our hearts. I know for my own self, recently I had a situation at work. I've been at work a long time, the same job for a long time, done pretty well with it, I thought. And I had this situation where all of a sudden I was told I wasn't doing as well as I thought. And so that was very sort of shocking to my faith system, right? And so I had the opportunity to look at what I really believed because I didn't have much choice. It's funny how that works. You know, and I definitely found sort of gaps in what I thought I believed versus how I was reacting. So, and sometimes in those instances, you have questions like, you know, what now? Where is the divine in this? And where is my peace? And usually the first thing to go is your peace, because right out the left door there, because what happens is if you're not sort of aware and making choices and have done some work before the storm hits, it's easy to be moved by what's happening. And so in my experience, you know, I was a little shocked initially, and then I had, you know, the fear reaction of what if I lose my job, which wasn't the best door to open. Like Price is Right. That was the wrong choice there. But because what happens is once you open that door, then the emotions come in. And emotions are not, they're not designed to be helpful apart from letting you know what you believe. Emotions are based on two things. Emotions tell you what you think is positive and what you think is negative. That's all they do. Based on your reality out here, what you created as a reality, and if you look at how you're reacting, it's some variation on that one theme. And so I had a lot of evidentiary proof from an emotional perspective that I was thinking this is really bad. You know? And so part of what you have to do is you have to get off that roller coaster. And this is part of what we're doing here. As we explore what it means to weather these inevitable storms, when the storm clouds gather, and find your place of strength and stillness in the storm. So let's begin with a simple truth. You know, that the storms are part of life. No one is exempt. No matter how glossy they may look on that magazine cover, no one is exempt. Everyone has experienced storms in their life. It's just within their own structure of what they've created. In the Bible, we find this reassurance in the words of Jesus. This is a pretty famous quote. In the world, you will have tribulation, but take heart. I've overcome the world. That's not like come over the world with a stick, you know, and running at the world. That's an understanding of who he was in relation to the world, which was not, he didn't locate himself as part of the world. He located himself through his divine connection, and therefore was able to say, take heart, I've overcome the world, meaning that we also have that same opportunity and opportunity of choice. This is not denial of difficulty, not a spiritual bypass. It's an invitation to a deeper awareness. Yes, there'll be tribulation, but there's also something within us that transcends it, right? That's not like a faith statement. There is something in us that can and does and will always transcend those storms if we allow it to and align ourselves there. Unity teachings remind us that we are not merely human beings at the mercy of circumstances, although it feels like that sometimes, just be honest. We are spiritual beings expressing through human experience. That means a storm may be real, you know, like my fight with work or relationship or health in our perception. But so is the power within us to remain centered, grounded, and guided. That power, that is more real, that foundation is more real than the storm that's passing through, because that doesn't change. And those storms change. And this physical life experience changes. Storms do not just appear in the outer world. Often the darkest clouds gather in our minds, right? That's not surprising. We could probably guess we're going to go there, because that's where the the choice process plays out is in our mind. That's where the real work takes place. You know, the storm can be loud and boisterous out here, but where we go in here is what defines our experience. Fear, doubt, worry, regret, these are the inner weather patterns, I like that can obscure our vision. And when we identify with them, when we believe we are the storm rather than the sky that holds it, we begin to suffer. The Buddha offered this insight: you will not be punished for your anger, you'll be punished by your anger. And I would say the same thing about fear. You won't be punished for your fear, you'll be punished by your fear because you're the one doing the punishing, right? This teaching is not about blame. Make that really clear. It's not that you did something wrong. It's about awareness. When storm clouds gather in the mind, they can take on a life of their own. Thoughts repeat. Oh, do thoughts repeat? Emotions intensify. We begin to see everything through the lens of the storm. But what if we remembered that thoughts are not facts? That's an interesting kind of thought, right? Thoughts are not facts. That emotions are not permanent. That clouds, by their very nature, are transient and they pass. Unity teaches that there is a divine presence within each of us, a still, unchanging center. Call it spirit, Christ consciousness, whatever your spiritual path is. It is not affected by the storms of life. Again, you can see sort of the centerpiece we keep going kind of back to here. Unity, again. If the kingdom is within, then peace is not something we must chase in the outer world. I think we've all kind of done that a little bit, thinking something outside of us is going to bring us peace. It is something we awaken to within ourselves, even in the midst of chaos. Imagine the sky again. No matter how dark the storm, the sky itself is never harmed. The clouds move through it, but they do not change its essence. And we are the sky. One of the most powerful teachings from A Course of Miracles, you knew that would be in here somewhere, right, with me? Course of Miracles, is I could see peace instead of this. Notice the simplicity and the power of that statement. It does not deny what is happening. It does not pretend the storm isn't there. Instead, it invites a shift in perception. That's really the whole focus of today's sort of message, is helping us realize that no matter how loud the storm and the wind, and they can be pretty loud. We had one a couple nights ago that was a lot of thunder and lightning. And sometimes that just the physical or just the experience wants to draw us in. This is loud. You need to react in fear, right? It actually is, that's what we're taught. And this is teaching the opposite. When storm clouds gather, we often ask, why is this happening to me? But what if we asked a different question? How can I see this through the eyes of peace? This shift does not change the outer situation immediately, but it changes us. And when we change, our experience of everything begins to transform. Remember, so this is another piece of the process. Your choices help you transform from that place. And I just did this recently. It wasn't pretty, and it took a while. But transforming from a place of fear to a place of peace. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to trust something greater than fear. That makes sense, right? Faith isn't, so don't ever think you've got to be wholly perfect, and so that you're not ever having fear. You're going to have opportunities for fear here in this physical. It just is. It's how the world operates. It's the things that are presented to you. That's why choices like this and these processes are so important. When the disciples, this is a pretty famous biblical story, in the synoptic, that's what they're called, synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. You know, part of why the synoptic is stories appear in many of them sort of in different versions, but not many stories appear in all three. And the story of Jesus on the boat in the storm appears in all three. So when that kind of happens, you go, okay, I'm really supposed to maybe kind of get this. So when the disciples found themselves in a storm on the sea, they were terrified, right? I mean, that's a pretty normal response. The winds roared, the waves crashed, and Jesus, according to the story, was asleep. When they woke him in panic, which I get, I think we all get that, he did not scold the storm first. He spoke to their fear. Why are you afraid? And then he calmed the waters. And he wasn't speaking like, why are you afraid? He was merely reminding them, why are you afraid? It's okay. And then in his actions, I mean, I love this story, actually. There's a whole other thing about people say Peter didn't have faith. Peter was walking on water to him when he started sinking. But anyways, that's a whole other story. So Jesus, when he says, why are you afraid? It's a gentle reminder. You don't have to be afraid. That's what he's really saying there. You don't have to be afraid. The story is not about a miracle of nature or just about a miracle of nature. It is about the power of inner calm. When we center ourselves in faith, we begin to access a deeper authority. And that word authority is important here because we choose who we give our authority to, right? So when we're accessing that deeper authority, that means we're choosing to plant ourselves with that authority. The ability to speak peace into our own storms is what that does. And some practices for the stormy times, and I learned this too in my recent very stormy time, and it was pretty stormy there for several weeks, and I'm still working through it, but I discovered that the importance of when things are calm and things seem to be going well, that's when you take the time to build those thought processes. Because when the chaos hits and the storm is pushing you different places, it's a little bit harder to find those places of peace and build that foundation. So it's really important that when you're not being challenged by a lot of external stress, that you take the time to return to stillness. Breathe deeply. Let your awareness settle beneath your surface of your thoughts. Also, obviously, you can apply these during the storm, but these aren't just exercises to do in response when things aren't going well, when the storm clouds are really dark and it's pouring rain and windy. Storms exist on the surface. Peace exists in the depths, right? So return to stillness, watch your thoughts. Not every thought deserves your belief, thank God. When fearful, sometimes you see thoughts go across the sky of your mind going, what is that? It's just really fun. If you there's this meditation practice where you're the watcher. Probably a lot of you are familiar with it. You kind of just watch your thoughts, and it helps you be really aware of that you're the sky and not the clouds going across the sky, which is other thoughts. You're the sky, right? So storms exist on the surface. Peace exists in the depths. Watch your thoughts. Are you the observer, not the storm? Affirm the truth. Unity has long taught the power of affirmative prayer. Right? Principle number 4. Yes. Oh, thank you. I was going to say 3 or 4. Okay. Speak truth, not as wishful thinking, but as spiritual alignment. You might affirm, peace is with me now. I am guided, protected, and supported. This too shall pass, and I remain whole. I imagine many of you have uttered phrases similar to that in your own way, which is perfect. You do those like affirmative prayer and affirmative statements, and your own process and your connection with the divine is yours. It needs to be yours. It needs to be personal. It needs to be that for you. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to do it a certain way to make it work. You don't. You take in information and then you find in your own heart, your heart connection to the divine, whatever that is. Choose love over fear. Every moment offers a choice. Fear contracts. Haven't we all experienced that? When you're in fear, you can feel your body contracting. You know, you can just feel tighter. You don't feel, have as much space around you to operate in. Love expands. Even in the smallest ways, through kindness, patience, or understanding, you can choose love, and each choice becomes a light within the storm, kind of like a lighthouse. I know that's sort of a cheesy analogy, but it's, but like a lighthouse, those places are like a place you can go back to, and they're so important to have ready in a storm. It may be hard to hear, especially in the midst of struggle, but storms often carry gifts. How many of us have experienced, and I know this is true in my own life, where you go through sort of rugged circumstances in different areas, and you just do your best. You do the best you can on what you have, where you're at. You apply your principles that you learn in your spiritual walk. And then the other side, you recognize that as hard as it was, that there's a new depth to you, right? There's a new ability to see things differently. There's a new ability to react differently in different circumstances. Those storms reveal our strength. They clarify our priorities. So again, from my own personal experience, they definitely clarified my priorities recently. And initially, my priority was financial survival, which wasn't very pretty. And then eventually, my priority became, okay, this is not what I want. This is not how I want. This is not how I know to respond. This is not what I know I want. And that was the biggest one. I know this is not what I want. And that's the one that really helped me be able to become the watcher a little bit and recenter myself in what I know is real. But it took a little bit. But that was when I realized what I really wanted to choose was what I was choosing. That's what really helped me sort of turn that corner and begin reestablishing what I wanted to choose. Without storms, we never discover the depth of our own spiritual resilience. The Buddha also taught, I said it like Pat does, the Buddha. The Buddha also taught, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Isn't that beautiful? There's so much wisdom in the Buddhist path too. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. You can see all kinds of these different, these different spiritual paths just in that one statement. Storms challenge us to become more conscious creators of our inner world. They push us to align not with fear, but with truth, which is what happened in my case, right? Definite, first initial reaction, and then eventually aligning myself with truth. And this is super important. You are not alone, ever. One of the most comforting truths in unity teaching is that we are never separate from God. The presence of the divine is not distant. It is as close as our breath at any moment. No matter the histrionics going all around you, your connection is as close as your breath. Even when we feel lost, that presence remains. Even when we feel overwhelmed, that presence sustains us. Even when we cannot see the light, that presence is the light. The storm will pass. No storm lasts forever. This is a law of nature and a spiritual truth. Clouds gather, winds rise, rain falls, and eventually, always, the sky clears. The question is not whether the storm will pass, but who we will be when it does. Will we emerge more fearful or more faithful? More closed, more open? More reactive or more rooted in peace? This is the transformation unity points us toward. Not a life without storms, but a life where storms no longer define us. So with that, I'm going to close with an affirmation that I did not get to Christine to create a slide, so we're going to repeat it after me. So let's just take a second. Just take a nice deep breath, center yourself, so these words can really, you can really hear these words. All right? So I'll say them and then please, like a call and response. When the storm clouds gather, I do not lose my way. I turn within where peace abides. I remember who I am, a spiritual being, whole and guided. The light within me is never dimmed. The sky of my soul remains clear. 3 more, bear with me, don't repeat that. And so I stand not in fear, but in faith. Not in resistance, but in trust. Not in darkness, but in the knowing that light is always present. May you carry this awareness with you, not just on clear days, but especially when the storm clouds gather, because it is then that your light matters most. And now we're going to go into meditation.
When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart. I open my heart. When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart. Hallelujah. When I'm quiet in prayer, I see only love, see only love. When I'm quiet in prayer, I see only love. Hallelujah.
So wherever you are, here at home watching us online, let your hearts be open. Let your hearts be open as you recognize the truth of your connection with that unshakable light, the light of who you are in your connection with the divine. That light that is always there, that never dims, that never gets more distant. That light that we can turn to and recognize and let it light our hearts and our experience here on this earth. In this time of meditation today, focus on letting that light into every part of your existence, your mind, your body, your physical world. See that light in, through and as part of you. And above all, recognize that that is the truth of who you are and your connection with the divine. So let's take just a couple of minutes here and just breathe and see yourself, see that connection of light, that core foundational piece of that light that is always a part of you, always has been, always will be. And just breathe into that gently. Know that no matter how dark those clouds are, that light is always so much brighter. Normally in meditation we say, don't let your mind wander. In this case, I would say let your mind wander and let that light be with you wherever your mind is wandering. Focus on your breath. As we gently and slowly come back into this room, or if you're at home, wherever you're sitting, recognize that you are the sky. And just as every storm clears and you see blue sky again, that is who you are. That is the strength of our connection and our eternal being with the divine. And know that you are never alone. No matter what you're going through, you are never alone. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do a pat. Everybody stretch. Everybody stretch. What a cozy day here. Announcements. A little more energy in the announcements. First of all, a very important part of any service is our prayer partner, which is right here, Jacqueline, in the front, near the front row with her hand raised and that lovely purple vestment on her. Right, please, she'll be right over here in the wonderful prayer area after service. For any prayer needs, please avail yourself. We have a wonderful prayer group, prayer partners, and they're always very willing to partner with you and support you in prayer. Announcements Tuesday, April 21st. What is that? Next week? Yeah, this week. Okay, I knew that. Just testing you guys. Book group returns. And as is Pat's favorite sort of line, awaken the kitten within, right? She just did the one, the Dalai Lama's cat, I think, right? Okay. So this one is awaken the kit. What was it?
4 Paws of Spirituality.
And that was actually another one, yeah.
That was the one we just did.
Okay. That's, yeah, and it wasn't the one before that, the Dalai Lama. Okay, see, right? It's definitely a cat motif here. Okay, April 21st coming up this Tuesday. Also this Tuesday, creating the beloved community. Please, I'm part of that. A lot of you guys are part of that. It's a very important work we're doing here. Please, it's if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you. It's online, couple hours on Tuesday evening. Thursday, April 23rd, Luminous Living and Source Activation. Who's doing that? Can you guess? See, okay, there you go. All right. The first guess doesn't count. You can guess. Okay, with our wonderful Vanessa. That's this Thursday, April 23rd on Zoom from 6:30 to 8. 8 choices when life changes on Saturday, April 25th from 1 to 3 p.m. That's going to be this coming Saturday. Again, 8 choices when life changes this coming Saturday from 1 to 3. World Labyrinth Day coming up on May 2nd. So that's just 2 Saturdays out. Very important. We do really well with that here. You want to say anything about that, Barbara? Or?
We'll be gathering at 12:30, and we'll have a little preliminary introduction and activities, and then we will walk the labyrinth at 1 because the theme is walk as one at 1.
Okay. So for those online who didn't hear that, Barbara said it'll begin at 12:30, and then there'll be some preliminary introductions, and then walk as one at 1. Oh, I got it right the first time. Excellent. Okay, good. Woo.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I would just like to put out an invitation to everybody. Now that we're into springtime and we have rainy days and sunny days, I'd like to have an invitation as community that when you walk up to use the labyrinth and to do your meditations, if you could have the community thought of helping to weed along the way. When you see weeds, if we can stay on top of all that beautiful growth that's coming from all that rain, and we do it collectively, it would make it easy peasy. Many hands make light work. So thank you in advance for your thoughts about that. Thank you.
So that's great. So just basically building in your awareness when you're doing the labyrinth. To be aware of helping the process along. There we go. Thank you. All set with that? All right. Next is May 16th, spiritual. So that's so mid-May, obviously. May 16th, Saturday, Spiral Dynamics from 9:30 to 12:30 on Zoom. It's like a subset of the beloved community. It's a way that sort of helps us kind of define what a community might need and how different parts of the community relate. It's pretty intense. I went through it in one of my classes. It's pretty cool. So again, Saturday, May 16th, Spiral Dynamics, 9:30 to 12:30. Friday, May 22nd, Akashic Records Meditation, 6:30 to 8. I have a name here. Who's doing that? Okay. All right. Excellent. So Akashic Records Meditation, the second and last Friday in May, 6:30 to 8. Spring Cleanup Day, woo, May 23rd. Who's doing that? You guys can tell. It's me. I'm doing that. Spring Cleanup Day, 9 to noon, all right? We have lots of stuff to do. We have lots of stuff to work in the garden. We got some stuff out front. We're going to, I'm sure, support the Labyrinth too. And we've got some stuff working in the barn. So please join us. If that's actually the Saturday before Memorial Day, so you get the extra day back on Monday, right? So please join us on Saturday, May 23rd. Regular stuff we keep going on, healing service, first Sunday. Course of Miracles. There won't be one next week, but usually there's a second, fourth, and fifth Sundays. Power Up for Wisdom Years, fourth Sunday. Morning Faith Lift with Barbara Kowalska. And the Power of 8 Thursdays at 4 on Zoom. All these and more can be found on our Heart Thoughts on Wednesdays, which is a wonderful resource. Any questions at all, you can always find the answer pretty much there. All right? So now we are going to go to our offering statement, which is right on time. Say it with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the joy of giving. And we have the wonderful process where you just come right up here. And whether you put something in here or not, please take an affirmation. They're always very encouraging. All right. So come on up. We're going to have some wonderful music in the meantime.
While the offering's being taken, please join us in singing, God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
You two behave. Just saying.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
So please bless these offerings with me. We bless these tithes and offerings as they go forth through the will and the work through Unity Center for Spiritual Growth. Amen. And with that, we have the power. We do power protection too, but prayer for protection. Please say this with me. We are the light. We are the love. We are the power. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Please stand as we close with the peace.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as the one source, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you all for being here. Blessings to everyone. Thank you.